This is Valley News Live at 10.
As North Dakota BCI continues to investigate a few different officer-involved shootings in the Fargo area in the last month or two, tonight Fargo police are explaining the high standards they say they hold their officers to,
as well as how complaints are viewed by the department. So far this year, they've received more than 20. Valley News Team's Alex Larson has the story.
Fargo PD says in the last couple of years, they've rethought how they deal with complaints in the department.
The police department historically has done a really good job at holding officers accountable. We use progressive discipline to address those sustained complaints.
They say they have been loading up on training efforts to keep the community and officers safe, which they say has increased officer competency. And when there is a complaint made,
we do have an early intervention program that involves identifying how many complaints an officer has, how many incident reviews an officer has as well. So we look at the totality of what that officer might be going through.
Fargo PD says officers and community members should feel a level of comfort knowing the body cameras can act as evidence.
And that person may realize at that point that they may not want to pursue a complaint because they may not realize that we captured that entire event. Or by looking at the body camera, when you're like, that is a legitimate complaint, we will therefore, we're gonna make sure that we take that complaint and investigate it.
One of the biggest complaints filed against officers have involved use of force, but police leaders say those situations are rare.
2021, use of force incidents occurred at 0.12% of all police interactions. So in other terms, that is 99.88% of the time when we deal with the public, there is no use of force.
In Fargo, Alex Larson, Valley News Live.
Fargo PD says the officers who are on leave because of the recent officer-involved shootings are doing as well as they can, and they are using the resources the department provides them. All right, switch gears now. Take a look outside at the forecast. Is that the moon I'm looking at now, Hutch?
It's mostly moony out there right now. Yes, indeed. And heading into the evening hours, we're going to see less and less of the clear skies as clouds will be filtering in. We do have some changes in the forecast in the way of some rain. We'll talk about that in a moment. But right now, temperatures today, coolest again up north where we saw 70s. And in fact, mid 70s is all we could muster from Langdon through Cavalier and Hallock, Roseau and Baudette in that same boat. Now, we did reach the 80-degree mark here in Fargo and much of the Southern Valley. It was still very hot in the Mobridge area for the day today. 58 in Baudette, 58 in Bemidji, and Grand Forks not far from that reading as well. 64 in Oaks this hour. Still some 70s down to the south where it was a little warmer today. Here are the clouds. They're building in from the northwest, drifting to the south and east. There are a couple of blips on the radar screen there just north of the oil patch. That's heading in our general direction. And we're expecting an expansion of that rain. The question is, will your hair get wet? And we'll have the answer to that and many other weather questions coming up here in just a few minutes. But for now, your planner looks like this. Temperatures will cool off. It'll be comfortable to open the windows at home. We'll be in the 50s. Clouds will be increasing. Most of us stay dry overnight, but tomorrow we'll track that rain and talk to you about which bunnies have to bring the umbrellas and which bunnies may indeed remain dry.
Yeah, you got to watch out for your hair. Thanks, Hutch.
Yes.
A warning tonight from Fargo police who say they're seeing an increase in opioid-related overdoses. Between August 6th and August 8th, just 3 days, police say they received 4 separate calls for unresponsive people, and 3 of them ultimately died. They say warning signs of an overdose include gray or blue fingertips, unresponsiveness, labored breathing. If you see anyone experiencing those issues, they say to immediately call 911 and administer Narcan if you can to reverse the effects. New developments tonight out of the Northern Valley where Christy Nichol vanished without a trace back in 1996.
And Grand Forks police dug up a yard in belief that it may be connected to that cold case. And we're learning more about the cadaver dogs used in the search. Valley News Team's Nishay Taylor has the latest.
The Grand Forks Police Department and excavation crew spent several hours searching the backyard of this home after they say a tipster came forward with possible new information about the 1996 case. It's been more than 25 years since Christy Nichol has been seen, but just a couple of weeks ago, police say they got a tip involving a piece of land near 1st Avenue North and 11th Street in Grand Forks.
We received the tip from someone that lived in the community back in 1996, and I believe he may have been working with or on that site, that construction site.
Lieutenant Jeremy Moe with the Grand Forks Police Department says the tipster expressed continued concern regarding the construction site that existed before a home was placed on the land.
There was always concerns of some ground being moved back into that construction site prior to them actually going in and moving that earth back.
The new information led police to further investigate the claims, and Moe says after detectives examined a timeline and key details of the case, they decided to deploy cadaver dogs. And during the search, the dogs indicated there could have been human remains on the property.
We did dig down to the bottom of the footings. We did check that area, that identified area, pretty thoroughly.
But no human remains were ever found. Lieutenant Moe says the dogs can occasionally give an inaccurate response.
The dogs are not infallible, that there are times there could be false positives depending on certain things.
And Moe says with any tip, there's a chance that it doesn't always pan out, but they take each one very seriously.
We do understand that there might be times that we do not end up with the results that we are hoping for. Obviously, we want to bring closure to the family in these types of situations for the community.
GFPD say they are actively investigating this case and will be pursuing any future leads. In Grand Forks, Nisha Taylor, Valley News Live.
And if you have any information about the case, you're asked to call Grand Forks Police 701-787-8000.
The memorial for former Clay County Sheriff Bill Bergquist will be held next Monday. It's scheduled for 11 a.m. at MSUM's Nemzek Hall. You can watch the live stream on our Valley News Live Facebook page. Visitation will take place from 9 until 11. You can also show support by standing along the procession route to the cemetery on Monday. That route is on your screen right now. Bergquist served in law enforcement for more than 40 years. He died July 29th at Sanford's Hospice House in Fargo after a battle with Alzheimer's dementia. He was 64 years old.
New developments now in a story we've been following for months. The Red River Women's Clinic has officially opened at its new Moorhead location. Owner Tammy Cromanacre, with the aid of more than $1 million in donations, secured the new location where they could continue offering abortion services. But some are already taking a stand and taking legal action to not allow abortions to be performed there. Some community members are planning to pray outside that new location tomorrow. They say prayer vigils will be held on Thursdays. Plan Action is also holding a rally Friday, August 19th, 7 p.m. at 1020 Center Avenue in Moorhead. They say more than 300 people are expected to attend.
New tonight at 9, a Coon Rapids woman is suing Walmart for wrongful death after a 2019 fire in the parking lot of the company's Fridley store took the life of her 6-year-old daughter and severely injured her 9-year-old daughter. Essie McKenzie claims Walmart's policy to allow RVs and other vehicles to camp in their store parking lots led to one camper's hot plate starting McKenzie's van on fire while her 2 children slept inside. The suit seeks damages in excess of $75,000. We have new information tonight on a house explosion outside the Twin Cities. 2 people were killed last month in that blast. Authorities now say it was caused by a natural gas leak from a water heater replacement that was not reattached properly. Investigators still could not find what caused the gas to actually ignite.
Now to a story called in through our whistleblower hotline. Several complaints are being made about this rundown home in Dilworth. It's on 1st Avenue Southeast. There's a hole in the roof, numerous full trash cans in the back, and garbage stuffed inside. According to a notice on the door, the house has been declared as a dangerous structure since 2019. Neighbors who didn't want to go on camera say they're growing more and more concerned.
The city just doesn't want to do a thing about it, but it's been going on forever. There's animals coming in and out of the roof, and there's a cat living over there. There's garbage everywhere, and there's people in between the buildings and stuff like that. So it's time for something to be done.
Now, the city tells us they want the property owners to take care of it. However, they're keeping all options on the table. If you need help with an issue in your community, call our whistleblower hotline. The number is there on your screen, 701-369-3187. Leave us your tip and we'll do our best to get to the bottom of it.
With back to school right around the corner, Bird scooters will be coming to UND pending a permit approval from the city. These electric scooters you can use by scanning the scooter's QR code with their Bird app. If the project's approved, 100 of these scooters will be deployed to the campus, with more on the way. For now, they can only be used on campus, but when winter weather arrives, Bird puts their scooters in for hibernation, if you will. They'll be redeployed in the spring once the weather turns. A fundraiser took place outside Hillsborough, North Dakota this evening to help farmers in Ukraine. Birch Farms hosted a movie at the farm event. They played Deer Rodeo. They also had food and rides. All proceeds go to support other farmers in their mission, World to Rebuild Rural Ukraine.
And a lot of puppies.
Yeah,
That was cute.
lots of animals there.
Well, still ahead.